Welcome, I'm Seth. Today I'm going to be doing a whole lot of dovetailing. So I'm currently between projects and I have a bunch of scrap laying around, and I decided what better use of my time than to practice a skill, to practice my dovetailing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build some keepsake boxes with dovetail joinery for the box itself, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I milled up my wood and I've got enough for 7 boxes, so I'm going to do each one a little bit different and see what I can come up with. Should be a lot of fun. All right, so I've worked out what I want to do, and this is an example. This is one of my practice pieces, and this is how I want those proud dovetails to look when I'm done. And that's just a little bit proud, chamfered over, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Also, when I construct my boxes, I'm going to construct them as one piece and then cut the lids off. All right, so since I'm going to be making multiple boxes, I'm going to go ahead and lay out the joinery the same on all of them. That way, just to make my life easier a little bit. The one thing I need to be careful about is that I'm going to be building these as one box and then cutting the lids off it. So my layout on my dovetails has got sides. There's a top and there's a bottom. So I've marked each piece with the top, and then I've made a story stick where I've laid everything out where I want it to be. And I've also marked that with a reference to the top. And that's also the side that I'm going to be positioning it by. As I mark these out, I'm going to be cutting tails first. And since I'm marking the tails right now, I don't have to be super precise compared to the story stick. If I'm a 16th or 32nd of an inch off, it's not going to make a difference at all, because I'm going to be cutting the pins to fit to the tails. So as long as they're visually in the same place, that's all that matters. Now for me, the number one mistake that I made when I was learning how to do these is how I was holding the saws. And not necessarily this one, but any of them really. I was really firmly holding on to them, and I kind of had a death grip, and I put a lot of pressure on it. Now when I cut, it's very light pressure. I mean, the saw's pretty loose in my hand when I do this, and I'm not putting any pressure downward. I'm letting the saw do that for me. In fact, the more important thing seems to be body position and mechanics. most important thing here is maintaining control of the chisel and not trying to do too much at one time. So one, I'm going to hold the chisel very low so that I can both have my hand on the workpiece and on the chisel. Just like if you were, if you were writing, you wouldn't hold the pencil way up here. You don't have as much control. You're gonna want to hold it down towards the tip, towards what you're working on. Same thing. I'm gonna hold that chisel very low, and the mallet I use is nothing special, but it's small. Again, I'm not choking up, or I'm not holding at the end of the hammer like I was driving in a nail. I want control, not force, because I'm just taking little bits off at a time. So I'm going to hold it at the top. Nothing I'm doing here requires a lot of force. My chisels are sharp, and that's going to do the work for me. So I'm going to take just little bites, and I'm only going to go halfway down, or as close to halfway down as I can. Just a couple taps. In my opinion, the cleanup, not the initial sawing, is the most important piece of making a dovetail look right. You're never going to get a perfect surface off a saw. I don't care if it's a Japanese pull saw, if it's a traditional dovetail saw, if you're doing it with machines, with a bandsaw. I've done all of those, and on all of them you're going to be left with an imperfect surface. So what's actually really important is that you remove the bulk of the waste with those larger tools, and then get in with chisels and establish clean surfaces, clean faces, and clean shoulders. Again, when I'm paring it away, same concept. I want to establish that shoulder, but I don't want to take big chunks. You lose control if you're trying to take too much wood. So I'll take a smaller chisel and pare down to that shoulder I established. I've already established my line across the face here, and my shoulder on the other side. That's all that's going to be visible. Here in the middle, you'll never see. In fact, I like to, once I've cleared it away enough, go back and undercut that just a little bit. And again, holding the chisel very close, referencing the surface so that I know exactly how much I'm moving it. Now I'm going to undercut it just a hair. And again, that's because I have that clean shoulder established on the outside. The other thing I'll do is, after I've chiseled out my waist, I'm going to come back and pay special attention to the insides of these tails, in particular to the corners, to the inside faces, and to the shoulder itself, which again I will dish out just a little bit. I'm more concerned that nothing there is going to sit proud and interfere with the fit, and you'll get that after
chiseling out the waste. So just come in with light paring strokes, clean that out.
All right, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. As you can see, I've got 3 of these boxes cut and dry fit together. And then from this point on out, it's a lot of repetition to get the other boxes to the same state. In the next video, I think I'm gonna tackle some of the detail work that I'm gonna do these. There's gonna be some inlay and some other things. I've gotta fit the tops and the bottoms, etc. And I have to do all that before I can glue them up. So more than likely, this is gonna turn into a series of videos on these boxes, and for such a simple scrap wood project that really just started so that I could practice some of my joinery techniques. I think there's going to be a lot of useful information and a lot of good content, hopefully, that you'll enjoy. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. Thanks.